Good morning, everyone. Today I am in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, more specifically, Wrightstown Township. So this video is a total roadside find. I was driving in this area probably about a week and a half ago, and I saw what appears to be an old abandoned train station. So I made a note of it, and here we are. So as I'm walking along these tracks, I'm not 100% sure this is an abandoned rail line. I think this is probably still an active rail line, but I'm not 100% sure. Just as I'm walking along, I find this tree somewhat interesting. Kind of spooky, right? And you might hear Tony's voice. Tony is with me today. And right down there is the abandoned train station that I saw. I believe it says Rushland Train Station. So I just looked up where I am, and this is Wrightstown Township, but maybe Rushland is like a section within Wrightstown Township. Not 100% sure. So Tony was just saying there's a feed mill over here, and that says Rushland, PA. So I guess we're in Rushland, PA. Anyway, back to this tree. I don't know why I find this really interesting, but there's a couple of them here. And I guess they're still alive. I don't think they're dead trees, but they're just kind of spooky looking. Okay, so let's head over to the old train station. But before doing so, check this out. So this, to me, appears to be a very, very old rail car that's being used kind of, well, it looks like there's just trash dumped in it now. But me and Tony were talking about this when we parked, whether or not this is just an old shed or if it actually was an old rail car.
Yeah, it might have, because there's something coming out the back here, like metal.
I think it's an old rail car.
Like a really old.
Because this looks like some type of a very, very old, like, connector, right?
Yeah, it's got to be one of the first rail cars, I would think.
Yeah, so this looks like, to me, a very old rail car.
Yeah, and then you got, like, over here, it looks like a little guide for a sliding door. Like, at one time, there was a sliding...
Trying to catch up to Tony so you can hear him.
See, like there, it looks like maybe that was a guide for a door that slid.
All right, so what he's saying here, this looks like it would have been a old guide for maybe a door that would have closed,
like a slide
right here. So like a slide door. So yeah, I definitely think I'm not really going to step in this. This is really old.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's just, look at this stuff over here, Tone. Got metal. Is that old railroad equipment, you think?
I don't know.
I am going to step up in here real quick.
Be careful.
I'm going to be careful because it's really rotten. But I don't know, this...
It has a metal roof.
Got to be careful walking around in here. I don't know what these were used for.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how interesting any of this is, but it's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
But this, I do believe, is an old train car. So please, if you know anything about this place, leave information in the comments. There, somebody looks like they're chilling. They got a little chair set up. All right, let's get out of this. So I'm going to do a little Googling as I walk around here. You know, these little roadside finds, I don't do a ton of research, but I try to figure things out as I go. But this, I mean, this to me looks like an abandoned rail line. Or it's in pretty bad shape. Not sure. And if it weren't abandoned, but these lights probably would not still be here. They would probably be taken down. So quite possibly this is, I gotta run across this street, pretty busy area. So I'm thinking quite possibly this rail line is still used, not often.
No, I don't know. Look at this rail, Joe.
Now Tony's saying he doesn't think so. And you know what, yeah, you know what? I think you're right. This, I don't think it is used, right? I mean, you wouldn't take a train over a rail line like this.
No, you would replace
So this is definitely pretty cool. Pretty cool, right here in Bucks County too. So I'll do some research and find out where this rail line went at one time, or where it, I guess, still goes. But yeah, I would think they'd take all this stuff down.
You would think.
But maybe there's plans of fixing it. I don't know. Oh, anyway, this is what I drove by and just found this extremely interesting. The old Rushland Train Station. It's in pretty horrible shape, unfortunately. You know, I'm thinking Bucks County, they may fix this up. So Tony was just saying, be careful. So if you do come here to check out this station, this is a very busy roadway.
Yeah.
And the cars come right around this corner. I kind of feel weird filming here because there's so much traffic and everyone's like turning their head looking at me. Oh, who's that crazy person? Anyway, I think this is interesting. So let's get some pictures of this. Let's just kind of walk around. This was the old Rushland Train Station. It is locked up, but let's see if we can take a look inside. Not sure if you can see anything in there. It looks emptied out. Not a large train station. So this appears to be a signal that was taken down. The old emptied out electrical boxes. All right, so Tony, just walking around the other side, noticed there are some tracks on this side, or some remnants of some old tracks here as well. Not much left of it though. Looks like most of it was torn up. So maybe at one time there was a rail line on both sides of this old train station. So I just did a quick search on my phone. The old Rushland Train Station was built in 1883 by the Northeast Pennsylvania Railroad. So the station was originally called Rush Valley when the town was a gateway for local quarries and agriculture. A small depot with a public delivery track. You know, it's only like 8:30 in the morning and there's like a ton of traffic. Kind of crazy. So I apologize for the traffic noise. Not much I can do about it. So Tony's headed down the track, so I'm going to take a walk down here. It's always fun to explore near old railroad tracks because most of these townships were built around the railroad. The depot was built in 1883, which I already mentioned, the same year the town's post office was established. And it was built by the Northeast Pennsylvania Railroad. And from what I read online, the station has been totally abandoned at this point. So it actually was a passenger station from 1891 until passenger service on the New Hope branch ended in 1952. So yeah, I'm thinking there were probably multiple rail lines here at one time. And there probably were train lines that went both directions, right, Tony? You think? Or do you think that's just a...
It might have went over where that road goes down, maybe, but I'm thinking that was just like the pull off. But
yeah.
I don't see whatever that was. It's not part of this track.
So where are we in relationship to New Hope? Would New Hope be, I kind of think this way, right? So it sounds as if this rail line ran to New Hope at one time.
I'm not sure.
You know what, Tony? I'm going to take a quick walk over to this building because this looks like almost like it was a train station at one time. Am I? No.
I don't know.
I know. I don't know. It has that look, like everything, like when you find an old rail station like this, everything around it looks very, what am I trying to say? I guess railroady. Probably because of the industry, right, Tony? Like probably a lot of businesses opened up around it that were transporting their goods through the railroad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, that's something. It was, yeah, I mean, it's a bookstore now.
It is a bookstore now. Books and such.
But yeah.
But it's just kind of a cool looking old building.
It is.
And as I was mentioning before, Tony, when you come to these like small towns, they usually were built up around the railroad. So I'm not sure how interesting this is, but I kind of like it. All right, so I am going to take a quick walk along the tracks, see if we find anything interesting. Yeah, these rail ties are in horrible shape. So yeah, this is not being used at this point. I'm kind of thinking they're either going to use it again one day, or there might be some plans to do something with it, or you would think they would tear it up. As always, if you're from the area and you know anything about this place, please leave it in the comments. I love to learn from reading comments. So now, I was just reading something else. It said that it closed, or the Rushland Station ended in June of 1952. We knew that. But it says, although the station closed to passenger service, the single track line is still active today and used for freight by the New Hope Railroad. So Tony, from what I'm reading, it says that this is still active for freight lines, but they better do some work on it because it looks like it's in horrible shape. Either that or that's some misinformation. But yeah, I mean, right? I'm thinking this stuff is not in very good shape, these rail lines, but they probably don't use it often because
yeah, maybe not.
There's no shine, and that might be outdated information I read. So it was probably used within recent years, and when I say that, maybe within the last 10 years. So, but quite possibly they still run some type of a rail line up here. Yeah, I don't know. I seriously doubt it.
But look, does this have something to do with the signal? See how there's cables attached to that, and then over there there's wires. Does that have something to do with
the signal?
Like,
well, you know what? I'm going to ask our viewers because
but then
I'm learning more and more about railroads.
And I don't think you see them everywhere. Just here as you're getting close to the intersection. Hey,
there we have some.
But then over there, there's
All right, so
wires.
question to everybody. Tony's asking if does this have something to do with the signals? I'm going to say yeah. You're probably
And
right,
then over
Tony.
there.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we do
I don't think you see them everywhere.
then have a signal up there. Now I want to take a look and see if I can see how old these rails are. All right, you probably can't see that, but 1905. So these are old rail lines. LS Company, Buff. It's 1905. I love these old rail lines. And I gotta say, I wasn't like a huge railroad fan. But since starting this YouTube channel, I'm finding myself gravitating towards doing these type of videos. All right, so as we're headed back to this, Tony and I are talking, and he's wondering, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with him if this was the train station, especially when it was a passenger station, and maybe this, I don't know. this was built in probably in 1883, like we mentioned.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's old.
That kind of has the look of a train station, but
It does.
that doesn't mean that it is.
Well,
You know what, I'm gonna take a quicker look at it. All right, so now I'm over by this, so you can see what we're talking about. This almost looks like it would have been a train station at one time, but this is total conjecture. If it wasn't a train station, maybe it was some type of a warehousing for goods that they would load onto the railway. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, look what Tony found. So he's looking in the window, and these look like old. Yeah, we should, it's a shame this store, let me see, hopefully I'll cup this. Unfortunately, this store is not open.
They would know.
But they have some rail history here, because look at these. Look at these, Tony.
Yeah, and over there's New
Frenchtown.
Hope, Doylestown, New Hope.
Buckingham. I don't know what that one in the middle is. Something.
Yeah.
They both look like they say Buckingham.
There's more.
And then there's a bin full of them here that I can't see.
Over there's New Hope.
Not sure if you can see over in the right-hand corner, Buckingham, Doylestown, New Hope, Newtown, and Soulbury.
Yeah, this could have been the old, but they would know.
So more and more we're thinking this may have been the old train station, or quite possibly, Tony, this was the original train station.
Yeah.
And as it grew, this was built. But we don't know this. We are totally guessing today. But you know what? Sometimes I think that adds to the adventure. And as I mentioned before, I love reading your comments and learning. Oh yeah, see, you got all these old rails there. Well, there's another Rushland. Bucks County. I mean, they look authentic and old. They don't look like they're
No.
What am I trying to say?
No, the wood's like really old. Yeah, they look like it.
So Rushland was originally named Sackett's Ford after Joseph Sackett, who settled there in 1730. So this town has some serious history. That's what I love about Bucks County. I mean, these townships are so old. So 1730, yeah, this place goes back a way. And it was built, there was a grist mill built here, a general store, and a blacksmith shop near the creeks. It says creeks, not creeks, so there must be a couple creeks around here. So definitely an interesting place to explore. Today's video is basically just about this old train station, but maybe we do a revisit. I may sound repetitive here, but I may have mentioned this before. The name was later changed to Rush Valley when the post office was established in 1883, but then in 1894 the name was officially changed to Rushland. And some authorities believe the name Rushland comes from the scouring rushes that grow along the creek and were used by early settlers for cleaning their pots and pans. Now, I want to find the creek, so I'm not gonna do that in this video. And because it's always cool to look around old creeks, because sometimes you find like old dishes or maybe an old pot or an old pan, who knows? But I was surprised to read that this area was settled as far back as 1730. So this railroad's path goes somewhere through, I guess, an old quarry that was established in the late 19th century. And from what I was just reading, it still exists today. This is why we need to bring Tony. He found more evidence of tracks. So now we are...
So I guess that came across.
You might remember we found some tracks over there. And here they do continue over on this side. So I'm not sure how far they go. It kind of goes into some brush here, but yeah. So there were definitely... there was definitely a rail line on this side. I don't know. I mean, they move rail lines sometimes. So, but there was probably a rail line on both sides at one time. Maybe even more. We don't know.
Because it looks like it ends there.
So Tony's saying maybe these rail lines were used to just pull cars off the main rail line.
I'm thinking.
I think they're still. Are they still? Ow! Just got sticker bushed. Yeah, well, I see them. I see them over there. So yeah, the rail line ends here. As far as I know, the rail line ends right here. So we must be near Mill Creek, is the creek that runs through here. And I believe it was primarily Italian immigrants that kind of created a community around the quarry. So it was referred to at one time as Little Italy. So pretty interesting stuff. And Tony saw this on the roof of this Davis Feed Mills. You can, I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to point through my GoPro, but it says Davis Feed Mill. What does it say under that? Rushland, Pennsylvania, on the roof. And we were wondering why put it on the roof, Tony? Yeah, I guess you can see it from here. I mean, I guess it's kind of a sign if we can see it from here, but it almost seems, I don't know, I was thinking maybe so airplanes would see it, but that's kind of crazy. So I guess it kind of served as a little bit of a billboard up there, but you really have to be looking up at the roof to see it.
Well, but you got to figure you didn't have cars that went as fast, and the roads probably weren't paved.
All right, so you really can't see in there. There's no windows or anything. So, but I definitely think this was kind of a cool find. And I think I'm going to end my video here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you could give it a like, I know I say this all the time, but it really does help. If you get a chance to hype the video, that would be very much appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.